There is a great variety of supernatural beings in Central America that at night go around rural roads or city streets. Phantoms of popular folklore such as La Llorona, or Wailing Woman, and El Charro Negro, or Black Charro, who wander around, scaring people who have acted wrongly, or any skeptic that dares challenge them. Among these entities stands out one of pre-Hispanic origins, the Nahual, which derives from the Nahuali word Nahuat, meaning to disguise, although some would translate it to double or projected. It isn't actually an otherworldly creature, but a mortal man capable of adopting the form of a fantastic animal. A skill that might be innate, or at least could have been acquired, that allows him to transform himself into a black dog with fiery eyes, a talking snake, or a tailless and earless donkey, just to mention a few of his terrifying transformations. Native Americans' traditions say that at the moment a person is born, the spirits of nature appoint an animal guide to them as a totem, which will guard them for life, and that these guardians show themselves in the dreams of those they protect. It is well known that one of the attributes or greatest gifts magic has is shape-shifting. One of the most dangerous and advanced incantations of this art. There are beliefs stemmed from occultism that shamans and shapeshifter sorcerers had such a domain of this power, especially in Central America, that they could take the form and adopt the abilities of their representing animal to use them in many ways, not always in well-intentioned one. These shapeshifters, known as Nahuales, are protagonists of mysticism and famous for being essentially elusive in Mexico and a great extension of Central America. Legends from Mexican tradition state that a Nahual can detach from his own skin and transform in different creatures, such as jaguars, eagles, coyotes, or ocelots. It is also believed that if a man were capable of knowing his primal animal, he would be able to use this magic. This creature is usually linked to evil or mischievous actions and hosts a particular ability of transmuting himself at will into a determined animal or even an inanimate object like lightning or a fireball. The numerous legends and myths involving these Nahuales make it difficult to pinpoint what exactly they shift into. In other cases, the less scrupulous Nahuales would use this power to simply have fun and roam around as animals, or to cast jinxes and curses to those unwary who walk on lonely places at night, and at some point savagely attack them in order to get a part of their bodies to be used in black magic rituals. Many primitive depictions found in old caves in Central American areas show werewolf-looking people, despite werewolves having an origin in Europe. There is also word of stories from colonial times that talk about hunters, both natives and Spanish settlers, who would catch and kill an animal during the night, yet in the morning they'd be shocked to see the animal corpse had turned into a human one. There are also tales that go from Central to South America in countries like Venezuela and Colombia of many who claim to have seen witches transformed into giant black birds walking on the roofs of houses in rural areas late at night. They say that if a weird-looking bird is seen outside a house for several days in a row, it can be inferred that it is no ordinary bird, but a Nahual that seeks to do wrong to one of the household members. For some pre-Hispanic people, a Nahual was a wizard called Talaca de Calot, or Owl Man, indicating they only appeared at night. The reason Nahuals only act during the night is that, according to the Mexican worldview, the rituals that lead to these animal transformation work better at this hours, and they are also protected by the god Black Tezcatlipoca, the Lord of Darkness. It is said that to achieve said metamorphosis, the ritual can be done in two ways. The first way requires the sorcerer to wait for night to fall, so he can wear the fur or feathers of the animal he wishes to shift into, and use his magical arts to perform the transformation. The second way deals with a more painful metamorphosis, since the sorcerer must fragment himself, willingly get rid of some parts of his body, eyes, legs, arms, or even his entrails. This way, if one wants to eliminate a Nahual, the best way is to follow him and see where the transformation took place and steal the part of the body he left behind. For this will prevent the Nahual to go back to his original form, and at sunrise, he will die. In less common stories, it is believed that Nahuals are not transformations, but astral projections or sorcerers possessing an animal, by separating their soul from their bodies while asleep and making it wander until it finds a new creature to invade. However, before this happens, they must circle around his body 7 times to protect themselves. When performing this ritual, the sorcerer must ask for permission and chant to Tezcatlipoca, from whom the magic and power emanates to assure the effectiveness of the ritual. The ritual works better in moonless nights, for the Lord of Darkness is at the peak of its power and can influence the mortal world. At sunrise, when the first ray of light hits the earth, Tezcatlipoca loses its influence, which is transferred to Quetzalcoatl, the god of the sun and light. This is why the ritual loses its effectiveness, and the sorcerer must come back to his original form. Would he fail to do so, he would die and leave a corpse with human and animal features. People from mainly rural areas claim to have seen a strange beast, a mule, a bird, or a feline of great size whose face suddenly transformed into a human's. According to the principles of those who practice this magic, a Nahual materializes to punish those of impure hearts, liars, and lustful people, or to play mischiefs and do evil acts to those who cross his path. There are cases of Nahual witches who turn into beautiful women with horse faces who must be despised, for they are entities who have made a pact with the devil. Cautious, smart, lurking, and rigged, with elusive discretion involved in mystery. That is how these sorcerers who practice the art of metamorphosis are Nahuals.